C++, what is the difference between C and C++ means C++ is object oriented. Okay, C++ is object oriented. So object oriented means here the basic unit is object. Basic unit is object. That is, without an object, you can't access an attribute, you can't access a function. So always in an object oriented programming, C++ is object oriented. Then Java is object oriented. So here the basic unit is object. So whenever you are using this object oriented programming, it is platform independent, and it is not at all dependent on the operating system that is being used. So it is actually called as platform independent. So here object is the basic unit. So how you have to create an object in your program means first you have to create the class. From the class you have to create the object. So here actually the class is like a blueprint for the object. The class is like a blueprint for the object. That is, class actually behaves like a template. So whenever you are creating an object, the object is created by taking this class as the template. So class is actually like a blueprint. Based on the class, you will be creating an object. So always this object is called as the instance of class. The object is called as the instance of class. Why the object is called as the instance of class means without class you can't create the object. Without class you can't create the object. So this object is called as the instance of class, and this object is the basic unit in object oriented programming. So here if you see, uh, we will study how to create a class. So the syntax for creating a class is you have to give the keyword class. You have to give the keyword class. Then what you have to do means you have to follow it with a class name. So here the class name is car, isn't it? Class name is car. So here the keyword is class. Keyword is class, then the class name is car. So here when you are giving like this, you are giving the keyword class, and then when you are giving the class name means a class is created. So within the class here one attribute. This is here in C++ the variables are called as attributes. Then in C++, the functions are called as methods. Okay, the functions are called as methods. Functions or methods both are same. Then attributes are variables. They both are same. Okay, but in C++ in most of the places, if you see, they will use these terms, attributes and methods. So here if you see class car, so here car is the class name. And this is the keyword, the CLASS, this is the keyword. So already you have studied about creating the class, isn't it? So then what you have to do, you have to create the object. So for the class created, you have to create the object. So how you can create the object means inside the class, here the main function is actually placed inside the class. But this main function, it can also be placed outside the class also. In most of our programs actually, we will be keeping the main function outside only. We will be keeping the main function outside. But if you see here, this class car, within this class you have placed the main function. So if you see here, this is ordinary main function only, but the only difference is that see here void main. This is as usual you are giving the main function, but what's the difference means here you have given it as a static. You have given the type as static. So within these brackets, normally we will not be specifying any arguments, isn't it? So here you have given string of args. Why we have given this string of args means sometimes when you are executing the program in the command line, it normally how will you get the input by using this? That is in C++, you will get the input using cin. Cin. Okay, cin. So when you are getting the input without using cin, directly you can type it in the command prompt, it's command line itself. That is in C, you may have studied this, and it's using scanf only you are getting the input. But without using scanf, if you want to directly give the input in the command line itself means it is called as command line input. Here also the same thing. Without using cin for getting input, if you are directly typing the input in the command line means that input will be received by this particular argument. Only for this, you are giving this formal argument here. That is for getting the command line input. Command line input means without using scanf, without using cin, if you are typing the input directly in the command line means it is command line input. So this particular argument is for getting the command line input. Otherwise, this is a normal ordinary main function. So if you don't want to use this static and string also, it's okay. It's used only if you want to use only void main, that's also okay. But in most of the places, you will be using static void main string of args. Okay. So within this main function, what you are doing means you are taking this class name car, then to car you are creating an object. What is the object created here? My obj. So what is the syntax for creating the object means? This is the syntax. Put the class name followed by the object name. Class name is already created class name. Here what is the already created class name? Car. Then object name you can give your own object name. Then equal to new is the keyword. Then again class name, open bracket, closed bracket. So car is the class name. My obj is the object used here. You can also use any object. If you want to use some other object means that also you can use equal to new then class name of. So here this object is created. Then now what will happen at this particular line? What will happen here? So already you are having a class car, isn't it? So this will behave like a template. This will behave like a template. So now when you are creating this particular object, what will happen? Here in the memory, one space will be allocated and that space will be allotted for my obj. That space will be allotted for my obj. That space will be allotted for my obj. So here within this particular object, this object considers class car as the template, isn't it? So within this particular class car, what all things do you have? You have an attribute named color, isn't it? So here also for this particular object, the attribute color is created. The attribute color is created because always the objects are instance of class. An object is created based upon the class as the template, isn't it? So here car is the template and within the car what do you have? You have the attribute color. So when you are creating this object, within the object you have the attribute color here also. So when, if you are creating some 5 objects for car also, all the objects will be having this attribute. So color is the attribute. So already you are initializing color as red, isn't it? So color is equal to red. Here also the color is initialized as red. So now you are printing. So for printing here, they have used console.writeLine. Console.writeLine means directly in the command line it will be printed. So console.writeLine of my obj.color. So my obj is your object, isn't it? So my obj.color. My obj.color means it is red. So in the output, red will be printed. In the output, red will be printed. In the output, red will be printed. So here we have to remember 2 things. How to create the class name, class keyword. Then you have to create your own class name. Mostly you have to put the first letter as capital letter in the class name. Then if you want to create an object means you have to put the class name, already created class name. Then whatever object name you want to give that you can give by yourself is equal to you have to put the keyword new, then you have to put the class name, opening bracket, closing bracket. So this is the syntax for creating object and this is the syntax for creating class. So in the class name, in most of the places, we will be using the first letter as the capital letter. So nowadays you are running it in the online compiler, isn't it? So previously we have to write the program and you have to store it. So when you are storing a C program, you may be using the extension .c, isn't it? So whenever you are storing a C++ program, you will be using the extension .cpp. Okay. So this is the extension for C++ program. So till this, yes.
Can you explain what console.writeLine is? Like, how is it different from a printf statement?
Actually, both are same only. This will also directly see printf statement means um, there you have to give that data type and all, isn't it? Here, if you are giving console dot write line means directly it will print it in the output console. Both are same only. Okay. So did you understand this
Ma'am,
create? Yes.
Ma'am, so this object will contain all the attributes of the class.
Yes, this object will contain all the attributes of the class.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes,
This is not a C++ program, right?
this is a C++ program. It is having class, right?
It looks like a C sharp program, ma'am, because it says console.writeLine. In C++, is usually C out, C in.
out, right,
And
ma'am?
there's also,
Yes,
STD.
C out
there's no
also we can
public
use.
or private specifiers.
Yes,
Nothing is specified here, ma'am.
which one? Next program you are having this. This is a simple C++ program. And here also you can write this console.writeLine. So next
Can we
program
use
we
C
are,
out also, ma'am?
yes, yes. In the next program we are having C in, C out.
Okay, ma'am.
Next program is using C in, C out. There we are using access specifiers, everything. This program I gave only for studying about the creation of class and object. Okay. So normally this console.writeLine, this will print the data along with printing a new line. First it will print one new line, and after that it will print the data in the output console window. Okay, in the output console window. If you don't want to use this console.writeLine means we can also use cout also. Actually, the next slide is about cin and cout. Okay, the next slide is about cin and cout. Okay. So this one, if you see here the input is obtained using cin, right? Here the input is obtained using cin. So here you have to use hash include IO stream, hash include IO stream. So this is the header file. Then you are having using namespace std. Using namespace std means here this namespace. Actually within IO stream you are having three namespaces. Within the IO stream, you are having three namespaces. Out of the three namespaces, you have to use the namespace std. You have to use the namespace std. So here, okay. So here, what will happen means here within this std namespace only, you are having this cin and cout, the code for cin and cout. So if you want to get the input means you can use cin, then the angle bracket yes. So yes is already declared as string, isn't it? So here you can take the input, can get the input using cin. You can print the output using cout. Here we haven't used any class or nothing. Okay, in the previous program, if you see here means we have studied only about creation of class. We have studied only about the creation of class and creation of object. So in this program, we haven't used any class or nothing, but we have given only cin and cout. So cin is for getting the input and cout is for printing the output. So here if you see string is obtained as input and c is printed as string is printed as output. So here if you see the input is obtained as double, double x comma y. So here you are entering two floating values. So cin and cout. So cin is using cin you are getting the input for x, and then using cin you are getting the input for y. Then using cout you are printing the average of two numbers. You are printing the average of two numbers. So how you are printing means here itself the code is written x plus y divided by 2. So here also again for printing cout is used, for getting the input cin is used. So here the only difference is in the data type. So here you are getting the input as using double x and y. So you can enter the floating values. So till this we have studied about creation of class, creation of object, then cin and cout. The access specifier. So access specifier means inside the class you are having some attributes, isn't it? So when you are using these attributes can be either public or private or protected attribute. Public, private or protected attribute. So here this public access specifier can be mentioned like this: public keyword, then colon. Private access specifier means private keyword, then colon. Then this is class and this is the main function. So if you see here, x is the public attribute and y is the private attribute. So here within the main function, what you are doing, you are creating the object. So what is the object name? My obj. So my class, my obj. So my obj is the object for this particular class. Like this also you can give, okay, my class obj is equal to new my obj of, that is the syntax we studied, isn't it? Like that also you can give. So here my class obj, like that if you are giving means here one new object will be created. One new object will be created. And here my obj is the new object is created. So here which template it is following now? It is following the template of class my class, isn't it? So within my class you are having this attribute x and y, isn't it? But x is the public attribute, y is the private attribute. If you see here, for the public attribute, members are accessible from outside the class. Members are accessible from outside the class. So this x can also be used here. But private means members cannot be accessed from outside the class. So here y is private, so it cannot be accessed outside the class. So here if you see, within this particular object my obj, you are having this public attribute. You can't take this private attribute because its access is restricted. So here you can put x attribute inside the my obj object. My obj is having the x attribute because this is a public attribute. Then my obj dot x is equal to 25. It is initialized as 25. So this is initialized as 25. Next, if you want to use y means you can't use because it's private, isn't it? So here when you are executing this program, error will be coming that y is private because here in this place you are trying to access y, isn't it? So it will be printing the error as y is private. So here this two access specifier is over. Third access specifier is protected access specifier. So protected access specifier is also similar to the private, that it cannot be accessed from outside the class. But how you can access? If you want to access it outside the class means you can access. How you can access means you have to use the inheritance concept. So inheritance concept, it's a different topic that we will study later. Okay. So using yes.
So if the variable is private, we can't even print it outside the class.
Yes. Print it outside the class means within the main function you can't
Yes.
use it.
You can't access it at all.
Yes, you can't access
Okay,
it at all. If it is public means you can access. If it's protected means also same thing, but using inheritance you can access the protected members. Okay, about inheritance, that's a different topic. That's a separate topic that we will study later. So mostly public, private only we will be using now. Okay, so if you want to use it from main means you have to use it as public. So constructor, I have given one constructor program today. So if you see here, class scalar. So what is the class name here? Scalar is the class name here. So here, if you see, we are going to give a constructor and that constructor is declared using public attribute. So the default access specifier is private. Okay, the default access specifier is private. So if you are not giving here public means it will consider it as a private. So here, if you are giving public access specifier means the scalar of this is a constructor. How do you know this is a constructor? Because always the constructors are called as special member function. Special member function means similar to the functions you have to give. But what's the difference between a function and a constructor means the class name and constructor name are similar. If the class name and this function name are similar means that function will become a constructor. So when these two names are similar, it will become a constructor, and mostly you have to declare it as public. Okay, then only you can access it from the main function. So here two types of constructors are there. So first one is default, second one is parameterized, third is copy, then known as dynamic. About the first two types we will study now. So here if you see, this is a general syntax, class name, then the constructor name. So how we are using inside the program we will see here. So this is the class name employee inside public access specifier. Inside you are having one attribute age, then you are having the constructor. So this is the constructor. Okay, this portion is the constructor. So within the constructor we have initialized age as 50. Here we have declared, here we have initialized. Then we come to the main function. Within the main function, you are having employee E1. Employee E1 means what is the meaning? Employee is the class name. E1 is the object name. So now what will happen here? In the memory, some space is allocated and E1 is the object. E1 is the object that is created. So after allocating the memory, now what will happen? We have to initialize the object. So how we can initialize means using the constructor we can initialize. So always the primary task of the constructor is to initialize the object. So that is the primary task of the constructor. So always when you are creating an object, the first task is to allocate the memory, then go to the constructor and initialize. So already we know that whenever you are creating an object, it considers class as the template, right? So this age is the attribute within the class, isn't it? So here also within the object, age is created. Age is the attribute. Then it directly goes to the constructor. So within the constructor, what is the value of age initialized? 50, isn't it? So here also 50 is assigned. 50 is assigned. So here if you see, when you are printing it using cout, when you are printing it using cout e1 dot age, c1 e1 cout e1 dot age means within e1 object, what is the age? It's 50. So 50 is printed here. 50 is printed here. So any doubt in this constructor? Next we are having parameterized. Did you understand the default constructor? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the parameterized constructor, only one small difference. Okay, same as the previous, you are giving the header file, you are giving the namespace, you are giving the class name. Then within the public access specifier, you are having the constructor, but the constructor used here is a parameterized constructor. What is a parameter? If you are having these arguments inside the brackets for the constructor or function name, means it's a parameter. So here if you see there is a parameter within the brackets, isn't it? Int x is the parameter within the brackets. So this forms a parameterized constructor. So because here there is an argument. So default constructor means there will not be any argument, zero argument. Parameterized means you are having a parameter. So inside that you are initializing the age as the value of x. So whatever value you receive here, that value is used for initialization here. So then you come to the main program. So within the main program, what is happening here? Employee C1 of 40. Employee C1 of 40 means here what will happen now? Employee is the class name. C1 is the object name. So whenever you are creating an object like this, so this is the class name, this is the object name. So whenever you are creating an object like this, what will happen here? So here one object will be created, memory will be allocated and the object is assigned to that particular memory. So C1 is the object that is created. So when after creating an object, what is the next task? We have to go to the constructor to initialize. You have to go to the constructor to initialize. So 40 is passed here, then age is equal to 40. So here already we know, isn't it? The object is created considering the class as the template. So here, which is the class? Employee is the class. What is the attribute within this class? Age is the attribute within the class. So here, if you see, age is here. So here, if you see, age is here. So within the age, what is the value now you are assigning? You are passing here 40, isn't it? So 40 goes here for x, the value is 40. Then age is assigned as 40. So for this particular object, C1, age is assigned as 40. Age is assigned as 40. What is the next object? C2. So when you are executing this line, what will happen? Memory will be allocated and next object will be created. Memory will be allocated and next object will be created. So here you are passing the 30, isn't it? So here again the call goes to the constructor and here age is assigned as 30. Next, what about third object? So when you are creating third object C3, so again same thing. Whenever you are creating an object, memory will be allocated and there C3 object is placed. Then what will happen? The call will go again to the constructor. So here it will go to the only to the parameterized constructor. Why it is going to the parameterized constructor? Because here there is one value, isn't it? So here it is integer value. Here also this particular constructor is having integer type. So both matches, isn't it? Both argument matches. So it will check that also whether the argument matches or not. So as it matches, what will happen now? Call will go here and this is initialized as 40. So for each object, the value of age is different. So when you are printing it using C out, if you see here, C1 dot age it's 40, C2 dot age it's 30, C3 dot age it's 50. So here these three values are printed differently according to the object called. So any doubt on this parameterized constructor? Did you understand parameterized constructor?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, so in this we can print multiple values, but in default we can print only one.
Can you print what you're asking? Yeah, if you are using two arguments means you can initialize two arguments and you can print the value for two arguments. Here it's not necessary that you should use only one. You can also use two arguments, three arguments you can use. You can print.
Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, if we do not specify public, then what is the by default? What did you say?
Private,
By default.
private.
Okay. And ma'am, the structure employee has to be created in the like outside of the main
Yes.
function.
Yes,
It cannot be
yes.
constructed. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, outside of the main function.
Like in C, we initialize it within the main function. So I was asking, like here we have to do it outside.
We have to do it outside. Class, we have to keep it outside.
Okay.
Okay. You check whether it is opening. To check whether IPS is opening.
Ma'am,
Yes.
in the second code, ma'am, not this one, ma'am, the next one.
Previous
Can you
one.
show the next one,
Okay,
ma'am?
okay. Yeah.
Param, yeah, ma'am.
Ah.
Ma'am, here, where are we printing it out, ma'am? You know, after the int main function. Okay, okay.
Can we leave after completing the IPS?
Why you have some other class?
No, I just asked.
Okay, if you have finished and submitted means you can leave. I think I scheduled it only to 2:40. I think. You check whether it is opening.
No, ma'am, at 2:40 only.
Okay. Wait for some 2:4 minutes. Till that you study these indexes because I think I have asked your programs from parameterized constructor.
Ma'am, will you be uploading these slides now?
Yes. I will be uploading.
Okay.
Till structures I have uploaded, I think already.
Yes, ma'am.
Till complete C I have uploaded, I think. C++ after finishing this module, I will upload it immediately. Is it opening now?
Yes, ma'am. It opened.
Okay, okay. 2 IPS I have given.
What is the meaning of increment operation? Like
Increment means when you are doing the increment operation on integer means 20 will become 21. When you are applying it on the string means the pointer will move to the next location. Initially, the pointer will be pointing to the first character. When you are applying the increment operation, it will move to the second character. So it will start printing from the second character. Same increment operation you have to use for two purposes. One incrementing the integer, another one for incrementing the first pointer within string.
okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, only 2 questions, ma'am.
2 IPS. Within 1 IPS, I think I have given 2 questions, totally 3 questions.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, in the output, for example, if we take the integer input as 3, then the output will be 4. And
Input is
it is
3.
right, right.
Okay.
Well, could you give an example for string?
String means if you are giving the input as car means in the output only AR will be printed.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
I don't understand, ma'am, how to do the first case actually.
Did you check that test case?
Yes, ma'am. Basically, in string, it is removing the first letter, and in integer, it is incrementing one more integer, right?
Yes.
But how to do this using macro? I think macro was for inline function, right?
Wait, I will show you the coding. Wait a minute.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, why is the title classes for a program where we have no need to use class, ma'am?
You have to include class
No,
and you
like
have to
in
do
the
that.
in the instructions, you've not given anything regarding classes.
I haven't given anything.
No, ma'am.
Okay, okay. You use class and then do. Okay. Wait, I will share the code.
Okay, ma'am, you meant this. Ma'am, for the macro program, you have to take pointer only, not normal variable.
Yes.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, when I'm running the code on vPropel, it says monitored command dumped core.
Not working there. Can you try it in other compiler?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Actually, it is not showing any output. Okay. Send you my code.
Not showing
Ma'am?
there also.
For what? For what? Macros, sir.
Yes, macros. It's not showing output.
It's showing, ma'am. It's showing. I got the code.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, it's coming. CO2 is not declared in the scope, ma'am. I'm not able to print output.
It worked for me in the line compiler. I checked already.
I sent you a message on Teams. Can you check what is the error with the code? Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes. Wait, my system is creating some problem actually. Wait a minute. I can't actually open anything. It's showing some problem. Wait. Wait.
Ma'am.
Did you get for macros?
Ma'am.
Yes.
No, for me, the cout is coming as an error, ma'am. Cout was not declared in the scope. That's the error I'm getting.
Wait, my system actually something is hanging and nothing is working here. Can you see the program?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you took pointer only for the string but not for integer. So why was that, ma'am?
In integer, ordinary increment operation only, isn't it? If you're simply adding 20 plus 1 means it will increment, right? For that, you have to move the string position. You have to move it to the next character position. So there you have used pointer. This is ordinary addition incrementing, isn't it? So no pointer. There you are moving the pointer to the next character, right? So only for string you use the pointer.
Ma'am, but here you have taken the like values yourself, but in VTuple you have to take input. So for pointer
Okay.
of CHIR, how will you take input?
Pointer of CHAR. Are you able to assign it to another one pointer? You just get the input and then after that, can you assign it to the pointer?
Okay, yes, ma'am. That makes more sense.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
okay.
I can do it. Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Ma'am, I got the output as expected output, ma'am, but my code is passing the test.
Not passing the test. Then it's
Yeah.
okay. You go to the next program.
Okay. Okay.
Then one of you asked that doubt about console.writeline, isn't it? So that is not accepted in C++. Okay, it's accepted only in C#. I checked now. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So you use just C in and C out. Don't use console.writeline. It's not accepted in C++.
No, I'm also getting the same error, the monitor command dumped code.
One of you got the correct output, isn't it? Can you share the code? Who got correct output?
Ma'am, shall I send it in the chat?
Oh, okay.
Ma'am.
Yes.
The correct code should be sent personally or in Teams chat, ma'am.
You got the correct output.
For the second one, ma'am. Second
Which
IPS.
one? Second IPS?
I finished the code, ma'am. Should I send it to you personally or?
No, if you pass the test, then you submit there and you go to the next program.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I've sent you the one of my codes, ma'am, the first IPS.
Okay.
I'm getting. I don't understand what this error even means, ma'am. Can you check?
Wait. We are using in the Starium. Aditya Krishna.
Yes, ma'am, I changed that, but it's still not working. I understood. Change that. I'll send you the
Okay.
latest version of what I'm trying to do.
Okay. Then in increment also you don't send the pointer, you send the ordinary variable, just P.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I sent you the latest version of what I'm trying to do.
Ma'am, have you checked this code? Can I check my code after that?
Yes. Aditya Krishna, where you have sent? In the general chat?
No, ma'am, I've sent it to you in your personal chat.
Coming actually. Aditya Krishna, what you have to do means you have to get the input using scanf. Then what you do, you create a pointer variable star p, char star p. Then to that char star p, you initialize using that particular variable. First, you get input using scanf. Suppose if you are getting the input using scanf and the variable is yes means, then you create char star p. Then you assign it, initialize it using yes, char star p equal to yes. Like that you initialize. Shravan, you are getting error in main
Ma'am,
conversion.
I don't even understand what that's supposed to mean, ma'am.
Okay, wait. Scan. You are compiling it using C++, isn't it?
Yes,
So why
ma'am.
you have used scanf and printf?
Wait, what?
Why you have used scanf and printf?
My bad, ma'am. Okay, okay, ma'am. I'll check that. One more doubt, ma'am. In the parameterize start question constructor, I have a doubt in that one, ma'am. I'll send my code. I'm getting 0 as my output, ma'am, randomly. I don't understand why.
We're getting 0 for this. Wait, I
Same,
will
ma'am.
check.
I've also sent you the code.
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
even I got the same.
Ma'am, now the problem is not coming, but in the integer I'm getting only 1 instead of 21.
Okay. Shravan, you send the code as text form, the text form.
Okay, ma'am, 1 second. Ma'am.
Can you check your text chat in Teams?
What?
Can
Wait.
you check? Yes, ma'am.
Wait. I will check his code and come back. Wait. Shravan, your code is actually working in the online compiler. Shravan, your code is working in the online compiler.
Then why is it not working here, ma'am?
It's not working here. Did you try it in the online compiler?
Oh, ma'am, I'm actually trying out something else.
What?
I'm doing the macro question again.
Okay, there also it's only there it's
That's
not
the,
working.
yeah, only that question is not working.
Actually, I got the output using your code. I just removed that space in between that length and breadth.
Where,
That's
ma'am?
not the problem. Only that change I did and I run the program. Actually, I got the output for your program.
Is it
It's
giving
working
0,
here.
ma'am?
No, it's displaying 6. Wait, I will show you.
1 second, ma'am, I will try.
Yes, actually, I am getting the output here.
Yes, ma'am, even I'm getting in my compare, ma'am.
Yes. So the program is correct. Okay.
What is the problem with the proper, ma'am?
That there is some internal problem with vPropel.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I got the output for the classes, ma'am. Can I leave?
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
I finally passed the test cases for the macro one.
You passed. Okay.
So I'm actually I had to check the order in which the computer was giving input. I was taking
Yes.
input as string first.
Yes. If you
But
take
the
it in the
computer-
wrong order, means it will exit from the program and there will
No,
be
ma'am.
problem.
No, ma'am, but still my VS code was giving the correct
Okay.
only.
Okay.
I don't know how.
Okay. If you have finished, means you can leave.
I changed it to C in C out, ma'am. The class
Mm.
one, it's still giving the same error. Like it says, error conversion from area star to non-scalar type area requested, and then it's showing the same.
For which
with error.
program? This area program.
Yeah. Not the one. No, not this one, ma'am. The one previously I used C++ syntax with C. No, ma'am. I confused that question.
Yes.
Yeah, I've sent you my code. Look at it. I changed the scanf into C in and C out, but it still gives the same error. I've sent you both my code
Gives the
and
same
my
error. Okay.
thing output.
Okay.
Can you check?
Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, for this for the second IPS class one,
Yes.
we just have to use standard normal class, right?
Standard normal.
Ma'am, I mean, as in there's no console.f you have to take, or you have to take input scanf for.
For C++ program.
Okay, so C out
C++
and C in. Right?
using scene. Scene.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Wait a minute. I am watching his program. Wait. See, Shravan, right? This program for
Yes, ma'am.
area post Shravan. See, for that scene, you use separate angle bracket for getting each input. Why you are using comma there?
Okay, no, I actually didn't know. I wanted to ask you about that. You can't use that, huh?
Yes.
Okay, one second. I will check.
Okay.
Can you send the can you show the second code for the meanwhile? The classes.
No, ma'am. I changed it and I'm still getting that error. Beautiful. Right.
You are changing and you are still getting.
Yeah.
Can you get the input separately?
Look at that, ma'am. Look at that. I've sent you my code. It'll be nice if at least it shows different errors, ma'am. Each time I make a change, nothing. It's giving the same set of 3 lines error.
Same error.
I don't even understand what this error means. Some conversion from area
do-
star to non-scalar type area.
You try like this. Now also you are getting the output as wrong, isn't it? What you do that calculation separately. You do that calculation separately for calculating the area, then you print the final output. Within C out itself, you are doing the calculation, right? You do the calculation separately.
Actually, the problem is not even in C out, ma'am. The problem is not even during input output. Problem is when I'm declaring that area A1 is equal to new area thing.
There.
Yeah, that's the
Area.
problem. Yeah. The first line in int main, no, that it shows that my error is in that line because when I tried it in my own compiler also, it shows that the error is in that line, the 12th line.
If you are giving area A1 means it's working.
It's not working anywhere, ma'am. The first time you showed in the PPT syntax for declaring an object.
Yes.
The class name space your own object name equals new your object name open bracket close bracket.
Yes.
That's the same thing I've written, ma'am, and it's showing an error in that line.
If you are removing that new means it's working.
I don't know, ma'am. Let me try.
You try.
If I remove the new, it shows 0 as output.
0 is output. Then you do the calculation separately. And then you try.
Hey, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm getting an error that expected unqualified ID before token.
What?
using. Yes, ma'am. Can you show the code for the classes program? Where
Wait
you
a
have to-
minute. Wait a minute.
Finally, I got it, ma'am. I got it. I had to remove the Leo
Okay.
and this thing.
Ma'am, will you take attendance?
Calculate separatively.
Yes, I will. No, I will take the attendance after downloading. I will take.
Ma'am, what about this thing, ma'am? The other thing. It gave 0 as an output, right? The area thing. The next
Area
slide,
thing.
last question. Yeah.
Did you
what do-
calculate it separately and did you try?
That question I got it, ma'am. The question which I was talking about right now, I got it. I calculated it separately. I removed the new keyword and I got the answer. I'm asking about the
Okay.
question we were talking about before this, right, ma'am? The parameterized constructor, that one.
Parameterized
Yeah,
constructor.
yeah. Do I just leave it like that?
Okay, if it's working in other compiler means it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's working in other compilers. It's fine, right?
Then it's okay.
Okay, ma'am. So I've got outputs for all three. Can I leave?
Okay, you leave.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Did you download the attendance, ma'am? Can we leave?
Okay. You can leave.
Can you show the code for the second code?
Right. Here in this code, actually, I have initialized. Okay, you get the input and then calculate.
Could you show the program from the top ones, like? Because I don't remember the syntax for C++ till now. Sorry.
Okay.
Could you scroll down the code a bit? Like in this program, we've already taken the values for length, breadth, and height, but we'll have to take inputs, right?
In this program, I have assigned already. For your program, you get the input and then assign.
Okay, ma'am. So for taking input, you have to declare the variables beforehand or what?
Sorry, what?
Taking, I'm like in C, for taking input, you have to define variables beforehand, right?
Yes, you have to declare the variables. You have to declare the variables and you get the input using C in, and then you calculate and print it using C out.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Could you just show the code for printing or CO?
wait.
I computed everything almost.
I've completed, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am, it is not taking my input correctly actually. It is just taking the first input. It is not taking the rest of the inputs, ma'am.
It's not taking other inputs.
Ma'am, I have just given C in double forward greater than L1 and semicolon. I have given this 3 times. So is that wrong?
Correct.
I'll send you my code just
Okay.
a second.
Ma'am, did you take attendance?
I will download and take.
Oh.
If you have finished means you can leave.
Okay, thank you.
Aditya Krishna, what error you are getting?
Actually, it was not taking my input. It was just taking the first input and not the second, third input. And it was giving me 0, 0 in output.
It's not at all you are able to enter the input, right?
No, ma'am. I entered the first input. I checked in my VS Code. So after I enter my first input, it is not letting me enter my second and third input. Okay, I got
You
it.
are
I had to use
getting
double.
the you are not
Yes, ma'am.
passing the values, right?
No, that was the only problem. I had to take in double. Like in the main, I used int instead of double. So that's why it is not
Yes,
taking second
that's
and third
also
value.
one problem. To calculate the area, how you are actually passing the values. Here you are getting the input only in the main, right? How you will do the calculation there? You are not at all passing any values. Otherwise, you have to
Ma'am,
get
I
the
think because ma'am, I think it is because in the room, LBH values are already defined, right? So it doesn't the calculator doesn't need actually any inputs because the L and B are already defined in the environment where the function
it's
is.
defined, but where you are actually initializing.
I'm in the room itself. I'll send you a code again. Just a second.
Try what output you are getting.
Ma'am, now it is the second code has run. Now I'm on the third code actually.
Okay.
Completed all 3 minutes. Can I leave?
You can leave. Yes, you can leave.
Ma'am, I've completed the IPS, ma'am.
Okay, you can leave.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. Let's end the meeting. I will download the attendance and take.
Okay,
Thank
I'll
you.
just show the code one time for the
Which one?
third code.
Okay.
Parameterized construct.
Wait.
I'll take a screenshot and I'll try it.
Okay. Wait.
Could you copy and paste it in the chat box?
Copy and paste it in the chat box. You try by yourself. If you want, you have a look at the code.
Okay, I'm going to scroll down a bit. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you.